Hey there, everybody. I'm going to do some pouring. I've got 4 canvases that I want to do, all different techniques, but pretty much with the same colors. And there was someone in one of my Facebook groups who was questioning whether you could use enamels with your paint pouring. And I commented that I don't know why not. It's latex based, it's water based. I don't know why you couldn't use enamels for paint pouring. So I thought I would test out the theory with DecoArt patent leather high gloss paints. And they had shipped me some samples a while back, and the only 4 that I got were the red, white, turquoise, and black. And I wanted to add a primary yellow into that. So I just got their Gloss Enamel bright yellow, which should work about pretty much the same way. And I'm going to empty these bottles into these cups, and I'm going to do a 1-to-1 ratio with Floetrol. I would use the pouring medium, but not everybody has access to the pouring medium yet. Some people have not been able to find it. And I wanted to use Floetrol just to make sure it was something that everybody uses and has access to, as far as at least in the United States. And people can use Floetrol in the European area. So I'm going to mix 1-to-1 ratio with Floetrol, which is also in my little yellow squeeze bottle, which I probably will not use, but I've got my big bottle. And it is Floetrol latex based, which means water based. You cannot use oil based paint conditioner or thinners with water based paints or latex paints. So I just wanted to point that out. Got my gloves on, and then I've got water in the bottle here with about 10% of Floetrol in this as well. It just helps everything mix up a little bit better that way. And I think I might do 1 pour without anything added to it. No silicone, no OGX, nothing. And then the other 3, I'm going to use my OGX, which is what I love, 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 because it smells delicious and it produces such beautiful cells if you don't do a lot of stirring and if you put very little in. So this is a 4-ounce bottle, and I've had it at least 5 months, and I am still not halfway into my bottle. So it lasts forever. So even if you have to pay $10 or $11 on Amazon for it, it is well worth it because it's going to last you probably at least a half a year if you don't go overboard on using it too much, because it takes very little to get great cells with OGX. This is coconut milk anti-breakage serum, and not all coconut milk products are the same. This has dimethicone in it. It's the second item on the ingredients. So if you look at your hair ingredients and if it's got dimethicone in it, you're probably good to go. I'm going to be working with the 12-inch canvas too. So I'm going to empty these bottles, and what you're going to see is when I totally get the paint out of the bottle, I'm going to squirt a little of my water Floetrol mixture into the bottle, and that will just help rinse the paint out of that bottle and utilize it as much as possible mixed in with the paint. So I've not tried the patent leather paints before. Debbie Coles has done a video on YouTube where she did it with a pair of black high-heeled pumps, and they looked really awesome. And she coated them with the white, and then she used the red and the blue on it, and they were really adorable. So I know she's done a video with the patent leather paints, but I don't know if anybody else has. I was going to see if I can let that just sit for a minute. Again, this one is not the patent leather paint, but it is a gloss enamel, so it's basically, I would think, the same kind of stuff. It might not adhere as well as the patent leather paint would, but you know, we're talking about on a canvas, so you don't have to have a high adhesion factor, because Obviously patent leather, if you paint on patent leather, you need it to stick to it because it's a slick surface. So there might be some other factors in that patent leather paint that make it a little bit hardier. I'm not sure. So I'm basically just trying to let these kind of flow down in the bottle if at all possible. It's kind of hard to tilt your bottle on the cup. I guess I'll give up on that. But what I can do is I can put the lid on and turn it upside down for a minute. I have had some come out of this one, so that's a good thing. So I'll put these upside down and just drip black in the other cup. It's interesting, once you pour them out, it just kind of keeps pouring. That's the interesting part, is it doesn't stop like a regular bottle of paint. It just kind of keeps going. So when I get this black out of this other cup, I'll put the blue in there just in case. I don't want the now that one came out, I had not shaken it up very well. That's interesting. So there's blue, and then there's all these ripples of paint coming out. So I just didn't mix the color in with the product very well. It's stringy. That's very interesting. I've had these paints for a little while too, so I don't know if that's one of the reasons why that blue separated. Probably. You know, every once in a while, it's just kind of the luck of the draw. You'll pick up a bottle of paint or something and you'll open it up and it'll be dried out inside or something funky, and that's probably pretty true across the board. For any paint company, there's just going to occasionally be one that dries on the shelf or, you know, whatever. So you just kind of have to take it with the odds. So like I said, I'm going to add a little water that has the Floetrol in it to each bottle, just to help empty that paint out of the bottle. There's still more paint coming in this one. I just put me a piece of new butcher paper down. It always looks so pretty when it's just brand new, but then you always have to get paint on it and mess it up. And I could have actually added this after I put my Floetrol in, but either way, I'm going to add 2 ounces of Floetrol, so it's not going to really make that much difference. It's getting ready to storm again here. I think the last time I was filming it was raining really hard, but the sky is darkening up and it's looking very ominous. But I'm painting, so I'm a happy girl. So I don't know, I can't remember. I don't think I talked about the show in Raleigh. I can't remember, but I had a great time. It was a young crowd. I was definitely the older, one of the oldest, if not the oldest ones showing there. And so it was quite a young crowd, and most of the people that probably were there were probably people that were supporters of the artist, and there was over 50 artists. And but there was music and fashion and hair and makeup and jewelry and wood carving and all kinds of neat stuff. And so there was a lot of really awesome talent. And because people had paid $22 for the tickets to get in the door and $7 for parking, they almost paid $30 to come to this venue just to support their art friends. That's why I decided to bump my prices way down on my canvases. So the 12-inch canvases normally that I would sell on my website for well over $100, I sold them for $30, but I sold over 10 of them. I sold some jewelry, some prints, and a clock. The lime green clock that I have a video on. And I made some good connections, and I've already had 1 or 2 people that bought stuff from me at the event that tagged me on Facebook. We became friends on Facebook, and I've already got a commission from one of their friends who saw my artwork because she posted my artwork on her page on Facebook. So it was kind of a great opportunity overall for everyone, you know, to intermingle. Her daughter was the lady that posted a picture of the painting she bought from me. Her daughter was also an artist at the event, who was probably maybe 20 years old. And so she was there supporting her daughter, but yet she came and bought a necklace and a canvas from me, and now she actually wants 2 more small canvases that I had there that didn't sell, and she decided she wanted those as well. So I'm going to meet up with her and get those canvases to her. But so it was one of her friends that actually asked me about painting her something. So it's always great to make connections with people. It's not always about making the top dollar. It's more about connection with people. That's how you build your following, your collectors, your client base, your friendships. To me, it's very important to connect with the people that I sell my art to. And I've already sold several pieces, and I just sold the piece that I've just posted called Enchanted Garden. I just sold it today from one of my friends on YouTube and Facebook. She's a new friend of mine through YouTube, but she bought a print of mine, and now she wants this canvas that I just painted, and so I am just like totally happy about that. I'll show you the painting. In case you haven't seen the video yet, I'll show you the painting before I start this pour. It's funny, the thing about white paint and Floetrol, you can't tell if it's mixed together or not, but you just got to keep stirring and making sure that it's really mixed well. And I'm going to speed through the rest of this really quick. So the turquoise, it's the patent leather paint, but I'm afraid that it's not deep enough. I'm going to add a little bit of their Ultra Blue Deep just to see if I can deepen the blue up just a little bit. I'm going to put in a little Prussian blue as well. It's not enough to change the paint much composition wise, but hopefully it'll deepen that blue just ever so slightly. It's still not going to be a dark blue like a primary blue, but it is helping. So the consistency of the paint is pretty perfect right now as is, without adding any more water. I put some water in the bottles just to release the paint from the bottle so that I could empty out the paint in the bottles, so they're totally empty. And I put enough water in that to where there's no more need to add any more water. That felt a little heavy, but I guess it's not. So I think on the first painting, I'm going to move the Floetrol out of the way. I'm also going to bring up my nasty little foil pan, but I've had this thing since the beginning of my acrylic fluid painting days. And I don't use it all the time, but it's great for catching drips if you want to kind of keep your table clean. Also, you can peel the paint out of here. When your paint is dry, it peels out very easily, and it's great for skins if you want skin. So I've got 12-inch canvases, and this is the painting I'm talking about, which, let me start it from the top here. This is 16 inches wide and 40 inches deep, so it is long, and I'm hitting the camera. So let's go this way. 40 inches long and 16 inches across. So I just did that one. It's called Enchanted Garden, and I did it with DecoArt paints, and there is a video for that one. So I want to put OGX coconut milk in my colors, but I think I want to do one of them without any silicone or OGX in it, so that it's just straight DecoArt enamel paint and Floetrol. I also want to do a dirty pour, a gradient pour, a swipe. So I'm trying to figure out how much paint I can use per cup and have enough to do all 4 canvases. I can only use 1/4 of my paint for any of these. So I think for this first one, I'm putting some white paint in this smaller cup, and for this one I'm going to start with a white base. So very quickly I'll just spread this around. This is a 12 by 12 inch canvas, and I have push pins on the bottom so that it's raised off the table, where I just pour straight color on the canvas. We'll put the cups upside down and raise the canvas up, and then I'm going to just add color. So this, what the blue added to the turquoise, it's made it just a little bit darker, but it's still not what you would call a primary blue by any means. So I just want to use straight color, and I'm going to tilt it and all that, but I just want to see what it's going to do with nothing to help it make cells. I just want to see if it'll make cells on its own, or if it'll just blend nicely together, or what it's going to actually do. I probably used a little more yellow than I should have now that I'm looking at this. So this one is going to have more yellow than the rest of them for sure. This red is really beautiful. It's so punchy and strong. So obviously with black, you don't want to use a ton of black ever, because it probably would muddy up and take over the painting. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this and it not take over the painting, but I don't know how else to do it but just to add it. Black is black. I'm going to try not to kind of overlap too much. I guess I'll put just a little bit of white on top. I have this little, see, a little gnat just went into my paint. He's dead now. I killed that sucker. Okay. So I'm going to tilt both ways first. To the sides. This may not be a very attractive canvas at all. Tell you what, I'm just going to let it run over just a little bit on this side. I've got a lump, I see. My hands look pretty though. When I said black is black, that reminds me of a song probably from the 70s. And I don't know if this was the exact words or not, but I think it said, "Black is black, I want my baby back." For some reason, I thought of that song. But maybe that's not what it's saying. That would have been when I was a little girl. But I remember the song. Okay, so there's the chunk that I got out. So now I'm going to move these cups. I'm going to tilt it this way to cover the side a little bit. And back this way. And so I see a couple more little chunks. Like I said, these paints have been sitting for a while. Here's one. It's good to have a good light source, and then you can kind of see where things are standing higher than the rest of the paint. Then you know you got a lump of something there. So now I'm going to let it stretch back this way. These are not colors. I typically do not do pours with primary colors. but I wanted to just try it out with the whole patent leather enamel aspect. But yeah, this is kind of cool looking. Actually, I wanted to see if some of these colors would overlap each other and blend into like orange and green and purple, and surprisingly not. So I'm stretching it that way, and then I'm going to take it back again. But I can tell you this is going to be it's a nice thick paint, that's for sure, even with the Floetrol mixed 1-to-1 with it. It's taking its time moving around. Comb here. What I'm going to do is try it on the side. I've always wanted to do the comb through thing. I guess there's really only one way to find out, and that's just to do it, right? Because this is not one that's going to be my favorite anyway. So that's kind of interesting. Now, do I want to go the opposite direction? I guess I want to keep going in the same direction. There's another lump. Black is black, I want my baby back. Why didn't it do? I must not have pushed hard enough down here. There's another lump. Get out of there. So I'm just going to use my skewer and drag the paint this way instead of trying to put my comb back through it. I hear the thunder. And since it didn't do well on the end here, I'm gonna take this way, and I'm not making very straight lines. I don't have a steady hand. So you're not going to see lines through the black anyway, really. There's another gnat. He just died too. So, got one more. Apparently the gnats like my paint today. I had some peaches in the trash can, the peach skin, and it caused some gnats to show up unannounced. And so I guess that's where they've come from. So I'm going to try back here to get this line to continue, because there was, I guess, blue and no other color at the end here. It didn't really, the pattern didn't start at the very end. So you just make your own pattern, right? That's what I always do my own thing. So this is very funkadelic feeling. I do have some paint missing on the sides. And you can't put muddy paint up, so you have to put totally straight out color. And if you don't, it's going to be very, very muddy. So I'm trying, like with the red, I can just put my finger straight in the cup. So now I just got to drag my skewer through a little bit to make it work. You got to wipe after you swipe, or you'll infiltrate that clear, crisp color with not clear, crisp color. You know what I mean? This needs more blue. So there's experiment number 1 with no silicone or OGX. So it's kind of funkadelic, but I like it in a way. It's not, you know, it's kind of 70s looking. It's not my thing, but here it is. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.